Senator Abaribe shuts down National Assembly, demands immediate release of NNAMDI KANU. Chaos erupted at the Nigerian National Assembly today as Senator Eyinaya Abaribe took a dramatic stand, demanding the immediate release of NNAMDI KANU. The senator, who previously stood as a surety for KANU's bill, vowed that legislative proceedings would not continue until his demand was met. But Abaribe arrived at the National Assembly wielding a placard and blocking key access roads, declaring that enough is enough. He insisted that the prolonged detention of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, leader was unjust and against the rule of law. As a shorty, I have always stood with NNAMDI KANU. I will continue to do so until justice prevails. Abaribe stated, from this moment, nothing will function in Nigeria until KANU is released, as required by law. The Igbo people are not fools. We have been patient long enough. If President Tinubu insists on lawlessness, then let it be total lawlessness. Now, Barrister, this is Senator Abaribe. There is one thing I admire. I don't know if I would say is my most admired senator for one reason, obvious reason. I don't know if you have been following him. He's the only senator that have always been blunt, always been. It's not. I'm even surprised that he keeps winning, returning back. I'm surprised that he has not been rigged out, just like they did to by Dati Baba Ahmed. Honestly, I'm surprised that they keep allowing him to actually. He's a popular senator. His Abia states or whatever, they love him so much because he's doing the right thing. He's saying the right thing. He's the senator that I consider to be fighting against the establishment. He just says things the way they are. And he's the only senator that I know that he's genuinely fighting for the Igbo cause, the people of the Southeast. I don't know if you've been watching him for some time now. He's been very consistent and very vocal on issues that borders the nation and specifically the Southeast. Barrister.
Yes, I've followed Abaribe's career from the time he was deputy governor to
Ideological, yeah.
Abia. And this is outspokenness that brought him into conflict with Ojikalu that led to his removal as deputy governor then.
Yes.
And he has always spoken out his mind. And it has taken a toll on him because apparently his political career would have been far more than what he is. But his outspokenness has limited him to his constituency, of which that's winning the Senate seat from his constituency. He's one senator that is always blunt, that speaks. He's a one-man protester, one-man riot squad. Yeah. Whatever you can call it. And this again showed in the action that he took. He was one person. You didn't see any senator from the Southeast.
Yeah, backing him, honestly.
Joining him in that protest or supporting him. So he at the end of the day, he remained one-man protest with a placard.
Honestly.
And it became very ineffective. But at least he brought it into the public domain, even though NNAMDI KANU's issue has always been the public domain. But another aspect of it came up from his protest. What I think the main problem with the issue of NNAMDI KANU is just one. It is the difficulty in getting NNAMDI KANU to renounce his, I wouldn't say renounce the agitation for Biafra, but his methods. I believe even during Buhari's government, the condition was met if he's ready to renounce his agitation, his methods, he will be released. It's the same condition that the present government, the Tinubu, is ready to give. But nobody is able to convince NNAMDI KANU to renounce. And I want to make that distinction. You know, Uwazurike
Yes.
has been doing
Mossab.
for Biafra.
Mossab leader.
Masop, he has been agitating for Biafra.
Yes.
NNAMDI KANU came and was agitating for. Other people are doing the agitation on a much lower level. The problem with KANU is the methods that he used, the abuse and the violence.
The abuse and insult and all that stuff.
Getting him to moderate his methods of agitation for Biafra is what has proved impossible, and what has stood in the way of his release. And when you come back to the state has a hold on him. He has been charged to court. I heard last week that the court has announced that it will restart his trial.
I think they've changed the judge.
Yes, the new judge has announced that he will restart his trial. The task of the Southeast leaders is to convince NNAMDI KANU to moderate his action, not his agitation for Biafra, but the way he goes about it. That will be more civilized and more
and that is
public oriented.
Yeah, and
that is the challenge.
And that is it.
They let Iwanyanwu tried his best, but it appears that nobody is able to convince NNAMDI KANU that, look, do it, but do it moderately. I don't think anybody has been able to. He is burnt on his cause. He believes passionately in it, in the way he is going about it. And it has been impossible for the elders in the Southeast to convince him to moderate his course. Not change the course, but moderate it.
Yeah, and that is the reason why I've always been even right from time, I've always been on the side of Biafra, because I don't believe the Igbos have been badly marginalized, and the marginalization is perpetual. I don't see it abating at all. So I believe in that Biafra. I believe in the Igbos. They just deserve to govern themselves, because that's just it. They've tried. But I've always been against the messenger. My problem has always been the messenger, Kanu. Kanu, I see him as a bad, because just like what you noted, the way he goes about it, his method is too vulgar. His method is just too crude. His method is just too uncivilized. He calls people names, just goes against certain region of the country, certain tribes, speak ill of them, talk bad insult people, threaten hell and brimstone, all those things. For God's sake, that is just the reason why I consider him as a wrong messenger. Other than that, I think I like his fighting spirit. I love his courage. He actually, what he has passed through so far actually convinced me right now, has convinced me that he's sincerely and genuinely fighting this cause, and he believes in this cause because he's passionate about it. Like I said, last time we talked about this in NNAMDI KANU, if you want to break someone's ego, incarcerate that person. Give that person, just put that person under 1 or 2 months incarceration. You will break, no matter how stubborn that person is, you will break that person. But when someone is embedded, there is an idea, the idea is embedded, engraved in the person's consciousness, you can't break such, no matter the number. It's just like Nelson Mandela. It took several years. The idea was still there until they released him. the same thing will happen to Ka, because his last show, public show in the court, made me to even before that time I had zero respect for that man, zero respect, because I didn't like the way he was going about insulting people, a sort of. So, but after that public show in the court, honestly, because I love people who are courageous, I love brave people, I love people who are resilient. That fighting spirit alone just made me to have a rethink of him. And I wish and I hope if he is released, he can do it in a more decent, stop calling people names, fight this cause, because I support Biafra. That's just the reality. Fight this cause, but fight it in a very responsible and civilized, decent way. That is just it. Honestly, I love that. I love his fighting spirit. And I love the Abaribe. That is, I think he saw that, because Abaribe has proven to be a very principled person. You just like you noted, for someone to be a lone, do you know what it means? It can be boring for you to be a lone protester. Eh? Alone, just holding placard, a whole senator, only him at the National Assembly. And we have cowards that call themselves Igbos, Igbo senators, and other House of Rep members, who refer to themselves as crazy honorables. Yet they could not even support this man. Cowards. Honestly, all these these political Igbo people, they are cowards and weaklings. They are selfish. All they're after is just their own personal aggrandizement. That's just the reality. So I think that is what Abaribe probably, who has a personal relationship with NNAMDI Kanu, I think that is what he saw in NNAMDI. He noticed, he realized that this man really believed in this cause. And I believe he must have been advising NNAMDI Kanu to do it in a different method, instead of insulting people around, a sort of. So, but that is just the reality. Honestly, I think I have a rethink. If NNAMDI Kanu, if he's released and he decides to do it the right way, I'll consider him the right man. I can change, because I love that fighting spirit. I love fight people with such fighting spirit. For years now, they've not been able to break him. He's still coming out, ranting, roaring like a lion. And people like that naturally will attract my attention, will attract my likeness, my interest. That's just it. Anyway, I just wish Abaribe will be encouraged by his colleagues who are from the same eastern part of Nigeria. But unfortunately, no. The man has he's been alone. He's been fighting this cause alone. And that's why honestly, that's why I consider him as my best Eastern senator.
Just like you said, a lot of people, even in the north and elsewhere, will not have much issue with NNAMDI Kanu if he was agitating for Biafra in a decent way. What is putting people off is the abuse, is the belittling, is the name calling, the indecency and the promotion of violence. Constitutionally, when he is shouting that he has right to agitate for Biafra, nobody can doubt that legally. You have right to do that. But to go forward, like I think you know the case that is currently topical in the US, where that Columbia University student,
yes,
who was agitating for
Hamas,
and the Palestinians, was arrested and is meant for deportation. You hear people shouting the right to First Amendment, freedom of speech, but where does the freedom of speech stop and where does incitement to violence stop?
That is the point.
Freedom of speech, your freedom of speech, should it result in another person, barring another person from going to school? Should it result from putting another person in fear of his life?
That's a good point.
Should it result from making another person feel less human than the other? So these are the difference, the dichotomy, the bridge where freedom of speech will stop and something else should follow. So NNAMDI KANU should agitate for Biafra. A lot of people will sympathize, even those who are not Igbos like me will sympathize. But when you hear the language, when you hear the abuse, when you hear what is coming out of his mouth, so it puts people off. It irritates people. That is why I said, and society, the Igbo had a very strong tradition of elders controlling the society, but they have lost that.
Yeah, that is it, of course.
Elders are not able to put the young people in check anymore, even in Igbo land. That is where the problem is. If they had been able to convince Kanu to moderate, don't stop the agitation for Biafra, but sensitize the people, continue to put pressure, but leave this insult, leave this belittling of, leave this
other tribes and
that you are superior to others. It only irritates people. Leave that side.
Of course.
Everything will be fine. Believe me, everything will be fine.
Honestly. That is just it. I hope he will do that. He will be released. They don't have a choice. It's not a matter of time. He'll be released. The thing is that government wants to break him, and with what I've seen so far, I don't think that guy cannot be broken. The only thing is just for him to be convinced. I don't think what government is looking for, is asking for and looking for. I don't think it's what you are. They are asking for much more than they want him to kill that idea of Biafra. An average Hausa man don't want to hear that name, Biafra. They hate to hear that name, Biafra. You know that. The real Hausas, all those Hausas, honestly, they hate that word, Biafra. The moment you mention Biafra like this, even this one we are talking, especially this one that I'm supporting, I know definitely my friends that are Hausas, obviously that's the moment you mention you are on the side of Biafra, they will automatically hate you. So that is justice. So that is exactly what government is. Government is not looking for him to just to do it, to continue the agitation, but do it in a decent and responsible or civil or in a civilized manner. That is not. They want much more than that. What they want, if it were that, they could have released him. Kanu would have, of course, people would have convinced him. Okay, continue this agitation. You can be aggressive in that, but don't be insulted. Be civil. Be civil about it. So they could have that. I don't think that is the government wants to kill that idea. They've been wanting to kill that idea since after the war. You and I know that. You know even better than me because you are a historian as well. So you know how much they hate. The Northerners hate. In fact, no other. In as much as every other part of, some part of the other parts of the country hate to hear Biafra. Honestly, the people who hate Biafra most in Nigeria, the region that hates Biafra most is the Hausas, the northern part. When we say the northern part, not the middle belt, the recall Hausas and the Hausa Fulanis, they don't want to hear that name, Biafra. That name is just a threat to them. It's unfortunate.